it's the new year, and everybody sets goals and
Talks about resolutions.
Yes. And by February, what goals? What resolutions?
Right.
Hey, I'm guilty of it.
Me too.
I've done that before. But, this year we did something a little different. We normally get away for a couple of days and do strategic planning for our business. But just like last year, my business coach, Mike Howerton, he's actually coming into town, and we're going to, the leadership here at Phil Hyman Portraits, we're going to get together, and he's going to facilitate strategic planning. So that will be kind of cool. But this year, Becky and I, we decided to do strategic planning as a couple and don't really focus on the business. Focus on our relationship, on personal. So you're like, well, strategic planning, your relationship, your personal life. Yes, because I just feel like that's super important.
It is. I mean, it's important to talk about your yearly goals, your future goals moving past this year. I mean, these are the things that kind of keeps us on track. There again, we're not perfect people, but if you don't make those plans, you don't really accomplish anything, really. So, I mean, that's my opinion anyways. I've always felt like I've done better if I write down my goals. When you write it down, you remember it a whole lot better and you can go back to them. And it's cool to go back at the end of the year and say, oh, we did all of this, or we did some of this, and we need to work on, making sure we get the other stuff done.
That's interesting that you talk about writing things down, because I don't know who originally said this or where it originally came from, but if you write things down, don't type them, don't put them in your phone, but if you physically write things down, like you said, you remember them more.
It's almost like ingrained in your brain a little bit more, I guess, that physical writing. So that's what we did. We went out of town. We just went to Asheville, which was about an hour away from us, and made it a fun trip. It really was a lot of fun. We ate good food. Went to our favorite place. The cool thing about it is we've never been able to really do any planning here in town. I mean, things get in the way. Even when we're here in the office and nobody is here, like employees and things like that, it's distracting. It really is. So, we've always had more success by taking ourselves out of town and going someplace that we can relax.
And, I think that's truly it, relaxing. Being able to sit and relax, your mind don't wander as much. Or if it does wander,
it's more creative.
It's more creative because you start tapping into dreams. What's your ultimate goal? What's your ultimate dream? Where do you want to be?
In 5 years, 10 years, whatever. That's what we did. We went and ate good food. We went to our favorite place, which is Biltmore Estate, was able to get ourselves out of the daily and really relax and get those creative juices flowing. It was really a nice trip. So we just want to share with you the process of us strategizing.
Yes. Well, one of a quote who said this was Dr. John Deloney. He has a great podcast. If you ever want to listen, he made a statement. He said, we speak in words, but we see vision, we see in pictures. So instead of we did fully write out these goals, but what we did, we pared these goals down to 6 words. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 12 pictures. And here, let me show you what we come up with. And this is laminated. I know it may be hard to see, but all these pictures go with what we come up with as a goal. And just to kind of talk about what we did, because our son is 15, our daughter is 13. Over the next 3 years of our life, we're going into the season of life that basically we only have, and Becky even may start crying on this, we only have 3 more summers with our son at home.
So hard to believe.
So, we wanted to be very, very intentional about the next 3-year season of our life.
Oh, yeah. most definite. So what we did was, didn't we do like a 1-year goal, and then we did a 3-year?
Actually, we started out with a 3-year plan.
That's right. That's right.
And we broke it down into, okay, ultimately, here's what we want our life to look like in 3 years. Mm-hmm. And we took those 3 years and said, okay, by year 2, we should be here. Mm-hmm. By the end of year 1, this is where we should be.
It's kind of like baby steps, but backwards. So we started with the end result and worked our way backwards on baby stepping our way to what we ultimately want it to look like when Philip graduates.
Mm-hmm. Well, you want me to go over the 6 words? 6 words we have is healthy living. Everyone wants to work out. Everyone wants to eat healthy. Everyone wants to lose weight. Come on, we all make the same goals and resolutions at the beginning of the year. But, this year, we kind of we have a little bit more of an in-depth need to do that. And so I put a little picture here of healthy food, salads, and just healthy vegetables.
Salads.
Becky loves salads.
I do.
Honestly, I could eat salad every day. I love salads.
Yep, he's a rabbit.
May not look like a rabbit, but I am a rabbit. Working out, going to the gym. We all want to go to the gym, work out. Then a picture of here is someone hiking. I enjoy hiking. Becky kind of enjoys hiking. I like it a little bit more intense than she does. Mm-hmm. But the cool thing is just being outside, just being together as a family, as a couple, doing ththings. Yeah. Then my favorite right here is the southernmost point in Key West. You're like, why do you have the southernmost point in Key West? Well, I turned 50 this year. And so for my birthday, I want to hike from Key Largo to Key West. And that's about 108 miles. I would love to do it in 4 days.
Wow. So we planned this as a couples thing, and I was going to go down there. I wasn't going to hike it. There's no way. And he knows better than to even ask me for that part of it. But, he needs to experience this on his own. I think it would be a great thing for him to feel accomplished at the end. Yeah. And what a great birthday present for himself, to be able to accomplish this task. Well, I think it's going to be great for you.
It's going to be, and I think we should always make plans and goals that challenge us. I believe it was Dave Ramsey. He said a goal that you set, it needs to be 80% attainable. Mm-hmm. I mean, because if you set a mediocre goal that, I know I'm going to accomplish it, is it really a goal? No. But you need something that challenges you, and it'll definitely challenge me. And so honestly, I look at all of our goals that we set, even looking at the pictures, it's a challenge. It's going to be a challenge this year, and it's going to be able to not only challenge us, but it's being consistent.
It is. And then celebrating in the end of what you've accomplished. That's why you set a goal, is to celebrate in the end. Yeah.
So, that was the first 4 pictures. The next 4 pictures, because we are of the Christian faith, and, that is a huge part of our life. So daily reading the Bible and just getting up every morning during our time together, just reading a devotional.
Yeah. And that's been tough this year as far as doing something like that. You get sidetracked with conversation. It's like, oops, we didn't do our devotional. And it's not something that we want to have as check your list, because that's not what it's all about. We want to have intentional, good devotions and good conversations after that, and daily prayer to where we're growing stronger in the Lord, with each other. Yes. That's what's important to us, and we want our kids to see that too. So that's our goal this year, is to grow in that direction.
Yeah, well, and not only that, one of our goals is, I have a picture of, it's a family, I know it's hard to see, but a family sitting at a table holding hands. And when our kids were younger, we always made it a point, every single night, we're going to sit down at the table, have dinner, conversation. But as our kids have gotten older, our son's involved in cross country and track and taekwondo, and our daughter, she's involved in taekwondo and drama. Not that kind of drama, the drama where you're on stage.
Some drama.
She's great at the other kind of drama too.
That's why she's so good at drama.
But I feel like it's so important as a family to put our feet under the same table as many times as we can, so we can have these conversations. We can foster this in our children.
Well, and this may not be the case for you, but for me, my favorite moments are at our dinner table. It's my favorite spot in the house. Other than our back porch, is our dinner table. This is where the kids know cell phones are allowed, even for us adults. We don't sit at the table and scroll through our cell phones while we're eating dinner. We actually have good conversations. And sometimes we have to pull those conversations out of the kids because, kids, especially teenagers, their answers come in one words. Okay, yes. Yeah. Those things. So we kind of have to ask them questions, and you're great at that, is asking questions that they actually have to have full sentence answers with, not just yes and no. So I just feel like that's my favorite time. Is obviously I like to eat food too, but that I like having those moments with our family. And I miss those moments like when they were little, where we could say, yes, we're having dinner every night. And I know that's not possible with our schedule, but we are going to be more intentional because there are days where we can be at that table.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that we're going to do, because it's New Year and we've done this together, but not as a family. And a friend of mine, Mike Howerton, he talked about he does this with his family, and I thought it was the coolest thing.
I'm so excited about it.
Yeah. So we're going to sit down at the dining room table with our kids, and we can do this digitally on Canva, or we can do this, we can go to Barnes & Noble, get magazines, cut pictures out, and actually paste them on a vision board.
Yeah.
Just because that way, again, we speak in words, but we see in pictures. And when you see those pictures every day, you're like, that's it. That's the goal.
And I think it's so easy for, husband and wives, married couples, or parents to do that together. It is easier, obviously, because we're adults and we can talk in adult sentences and stuff. Kids get bored, things like that. But I think it's so important to include the kids, don't you? I just think it's their life too. It's their year. They should be a part of our family vision moving forward. And as they're getting older, they kind of understand it a little bit more, and they can think a little bit further than, say, an elementary school kid. So they're excited about it, and I'm excited to see what their vision is for this coming up year, because it's going to be cool.
Yeah, and the thing is, our son's 15, our daughter's 13, and I've really been surprised as a parent with what I've seen out of their maturity.
Oh, yeah.
Of what they want to do or what they want out of life.
Oh, yeah.
So that's been really cool.
It has been really cool. Our conversations with them have evolved.
Yeah. And, one thing that is one of our goals, and honestly, we've always been intentional about spending time with each other because, like I say, we sit down every day, have coffee, and an hour and a half of conversation with no TV, no noise, no kids. And honestly, if sometimes the kids will get up while we're having our time, and we'll tell them, okay, go away. This is our time. Either go back upstairs and get ready, or go sit in another room because this is our time. And so, but we want to be more intentional about date nights.
Yep. We're not great at that, honestly.
No, we're not great at date nights, but we are very intentional about spending time with each other.
Yeah. And I guess that would be date. But yeah, official.
Yeah.
Let's get dressed and go have a date is something that we've not been great at.
Yeah.
or at least consistent with.
I definitely want to get better with that. Another thing, and I'm sure every family goes through this, finances, because finances is important. And that's something that we want to teach our kids.
Yep.
Matter of fact, our kids have, what's the debit card?
It's called Greenlight.
Okay.
And it's really, really cool. So it's like a digital bank, so to say. So basically you can, each kid gets their own debit card. They can create their own PIN. You can put any kind of picture on the front of the debit card. It's really customizable, but it's connected to the parents' checking account. Not that the kids can go in and do anything to our checking account or funds, but it enables us to fund their debit cards so they can spend money and teach them how to budget their money.
Yeah.
So say, for instance, you can have it where you teach your kids how to give or tithe. So we believe in tithing, and so we tell our kids, if you're given or you earn certain amount of money, you need to make sure that you are putting it in giving.
Yeah.
It also has a savings account, so to say, part of it, and you need to be putting a certain percentage into savings. And the savings can be for anything. They can save on a special toy that they want, or a special outfit, or a trip that we have planned, but the idea is getting them used to splitting their money up. And then they have fun money. It's really neat thing to help teach them the budgeting part of it. Just like the other day, of course, it's Christmas time or after Christmas, and the kids got money. Now that they're teenagers, everybody's like, okay, we're going to give them gift cards and we're going to give them money. It's the easiest thing to do, which they love because they love to go shopping. Alex is like, oh my goodness. But we was at the store. We went to Old Navy. Allie wanted to go to Old Navy on her birthday and spend all of her money, which she didn't. She didn't spend all her money. But Philip went. So Philip is the type of kid that hates clothes shopping, but his thing is sweatshirts. So he goes to Old Navy. I mean, this kid has like 50 million sweatshirts of all different kinds. Every time we go to a store or every time there's an event, he wants a sweatshirt, right? Yep. So he goes to Old Navy, he comes running back. He's like, oh my goodness, there's this cool sweatshirt. And I look at him, I'm like, really? You need another sweatshirt? You got 2 sweatshirts for Christmas. You don't need another sweatshirt. Go spend your money on a pair of jeans. And this is something that he rolled his eyes and he was like, oh my goodness, I gotta spend money on jeans. And I was like, yes, you need to spend your earned money on a pair of blue jeans. You only have 1 pair. And he was like, okay. So he huffed and puffed about it, but he got himself a pair of blue jeans with his earned money or whatever Christmas money he had. But then he got something fun, which I think is cool. And I didn't have to spend my money on it.
Yeah. Well, and then moving on, the last 2 pictures on here is travel.
Yay.
Becky's favorite thing, Becky's love language. But travel is fun, but also it teaches, that's a part of that work like a captain and play like a pirate is the travel for us. And it teaches our kids, take time away. You shouldn't always be just full on working. You need the time to step back, relax, and spend time as family away from the phones and away from the electronic devices.
But on the flip side, it also teaches them responsibility, that you have to work in order to be able to travel. I think that's a good balance in all of that. But it also teaches them how to rest.
Yes.
Our kids love school. They love school. And they're really good at it. But they work very hard to get the grades that they want. So I see that responsibility, especially this past year, their responsibility in how hard they work, but they also need to learn how to rest.
Yep.
Because then you're re-energized in order to go back and feel successful in whatever you do, whether it's school or work.
Yeah.
So rest is important. That's hard for us.
Oh, that's absolutely hard for us.
Yeah.
That's definitely a struggle. But then the last picture on there, it's paintbrush paint, and that kind of relates to hobbies. And that's one thing that really over the past 24, 25 years, neither one of us has been great at being involved in a hobby.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do this year for a hobby?
I don't know.
Oh, she's on the hot seat.
Oh, no. I got to figure it out. I got to figure out what's going to make me step out of the box. I hadn't figured that out yet. So maybe you can help me with that.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I enjoy art. I enjoy painting. So I'm hoping to, I shouldn't hope, I should say I'm going to find time for that because we make time for what's important.
Yeah, and honestly, every mom relates to this. We're usually the last ones we think of is ourselves. You know, we're trying to take care of the busyness of life and our kids. We want to make sure our husbands are happy and our house is all cleaned up. And we're the last ones that we think of. And that shouldn't be.
Well,
we should have ourselves as a priority, whether it's taking care of our bodies, whether it's taking care of our emotions and mental state and all that kind of stuff. These are the things that I lack all the time because I'm last.
Well, and you know, and I know you've heard this. I know everyone has heard this. When you're on a plane and they do the safety thing, you know, they always tell you put your mask on before you put someone else's mask on, before you put the kids, because you have to make sure that
You're okay.
you're okay. I think as parents, that's probably one of the hardest things, especially when your kids are young or your kids are teenagers. That's really, really hard.
It is. It's really hard. And now that our season is changing to where we're not to say that we hovered over our kids because we didn't, but, you know, your boundaries change and your outlook on how to help your kids change because when they're little, you want to keep them safe so they don't hurt themselves. But now we're more transitioning into giving our kids advice and letting them stumble a little bit and letting them figure out their way in life. You know, we have to make sure that we're okay too. You know, because once they take flight and they have their own lives outside of our house, we're left.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that as a couple, I think it's going to be important to make sure that we're okay.
Yep. Totally agree.
This has been great. I love this conversation.
Yeah. And I've always, even from a kid, enjoyed goal setting. I've always done it since a kid. And I can't tell you how many times when I was a kid, I'm talking about, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, that was in the car with Dad. He would listen to Zig Ziglar cassette tapes, Norman Vincent Peale cassette tapes, Dr. Robert Schuller cassette tapes. And so it was ingrained in me.
Your dad was a great goal setter.
Yeah, he was great at setting goals. And, anytime he had a vision, he would go after it. And that's
just who he was.
Yeah, but that's what we're teaching our kids.
Yeah.
And the thing about it, it's not hard to teach them because it's a part of me. It's a part of you. It's a part of who we are. Yeah. When it's part of who you are, it's easy to show someone else.
Absolutely.
So
love it.
Great conversation on goal setting.
All
right.
See you later.